Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint and today is the day. We're unboxing and taking a first look at the brand new limited edition controller for Astro Bot. This is the fully fledged Astro game that launches this week on the PS5, and it's got a lot of hype. Now I am really excited to play the game and show you this controller. So we're going to get this unboxed, and then at the end I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay along with my short review. And that's because I've actually been playing it for the last week thanks to PlayStation, and I might have finished it already, but more on that later. Okay, so here's the box that it comes in, and this thing looks nice. I know we saw it on the PlayStation website when the pre-orders went live, but I'm really liking the colour theme that they've gone for. So once again we have the controller in the middle, and there's a little Astro Bot character and logo in the bottom corner. And as this is a limited edition controller, it does show that down here as well. Then if we flip this around, we've got another Astro Bot logo on the side of the box, and an image of the controller being jumped by about 8 little bots. And I can tell you now that these guys are everywhere in the game. I also think it's a nice touch that every limited edition box that we've seen actually has its own design, like we saw with the God of War and the Spider-Man boxes. It means they all look unique and have their own style, as opposed to the normal colours which all basically look the same. But anyway, let's get this opened up and take a closer look. And here it is, and this is clean. I'm liking how bright it looks on camera as well. So it's got this white and blue theme going on, and it's interesting to see that the handles and the top part of the controller have a glossy rather than matte finish. But the bottom part is still matte, but this time it's white instead of black. Oh, and the little PlayStation button in the middle appears to be white, as are the thumbsticks. It definitely gives it a fresh look with it all being white like no other controller that we've seen before. But then of course we've got the blue details throughout as well. So on each of the two grips they've added these blue panels which kind of wrap around the side, and they appear to taper off very slightly towards the top as well. I can see these picking up fingerprints as they are glossy, but they look nice at least. And probably the biggest feature on this controller is the touchpad. So right in the centre we've got these two big blue eyes which you do see on Astro Bot himself. They don't move or animate as they are literally just painted on, but they do add something to the touchpad at least. I think they look okay, but to be honest it would have looked just as clean without them as well. But what do you think? Do you think they look better with or without these eyes? And then we've got the D-pad and the triangle, circle, X and square buttons that have the usual translucent design, but this time they've got a light blue accent underneath. They still feel the same, but it ties in nicely with the whole design. And something else you might have noticed, there are some lines and details on the bottom part of the controller, and these are actually indented rather than painted on, so you can feel them as you run your fingers over it. And it's probably a great spot to collect dirt, so you're going to want to keep this clean. Then around the back it's all white with the little Astro icon in the middle, so nothing else going on back here. It's also got the usual Sony logo across the top as well as the USB-C port for charging it. And for the first time we have white triggers and bumpers across the top. These obviously work and feel exactly the same as before. So they have the adaptive triggers which work ridiculously well in Astro Bot, as well as the haptic feedback. I think on the whole this looks nice, and it's definitely the most game-themed controller that we've had outside of Spider-Man 2. But for reference, here it is compared to the original white DualSense controller, and you can see how the bottom part and thumbsticks being white completely changes the way it looks. It's a lot fresher and brighter with those added white parts. Maybe we should have had an all-white DualSense after all. And then here it is with all of the other PS5 controllers that I have. And I'll tell you what, this design really stands out against the rest. In fact, I've got every single DualSense controller apart from the Concord one, as that didn't launch in the UK. And with the recent news of that game, I'm not sure I'm going to get a chance to buy it now anyway. But I also like that PlayStation do something different with the limited edition boxes. So controllers like God of War, Spider-Man and Hogwarts Legacy all have these cool designs on the boxes, which is kind of why I never throw them out. But as for the Astro Bot controller, I do really like this, so it's going to sit over here on my shelves, and it'll probably feature in future videos from time to time as well. And now I've got to talk about the game. So I've been playing Astro Bot on the PS5 for the last week, and let me tell you, this is the most fun that I've had in a game for a really long time. I mean, this has been a real joy to play and brings back for me those glory days of PlayStation. I'm not going to say too much or drop any spoilers, but I thought I'd share some gameplay and talk through my experience so far, a sort of mini review. So let me start by saying that if you ever enjoyed the free Astro Playroom game that we got on the PS5, this game will blow you away. I mean, literally, within the first few minutes, I knew this was going to be an absolute banger of a game, and it just did not stop. Once again, you play as Astro, where you get to explore the levels, defeating the various enemies and bosses, and searching for collectibles. But what's really cool is every level has lost or hidden bots that you need to rescue. Some of these are easy to find, but some are hidden away and take some searching. But what's awesome is there are these VIP bots which show up that are from some pretty iconic games. My favourite include Nathan Drake, Aloy, and Kratos, but there are so many to find. And once you do find them, they then show up here. This is called the crash site, and it's your home or your base where all of your bots and collectibles are stored. In here you can change the outfit you wear and dress up as one of these characters, and in here you can even change the style and colour of your controller. And this is what you use to jump into each new level, and it's how you fight some of the bosses. Now visually it looks incredible. I actually found myself just admiring the attention to detail in some of the levels. Like as you walk around the sand or the snow, you can see your footprints, or the way that the leaves move as you jump around. And something that really surprised me was the hero gameplay. So throughout the game there are more than 80 levels, some of which are themed, and they are based on games that you might be familiar with. Now I'm not going to show you them all because you need to see these for yourself, but let me tell you, these are incredible. You actually get to play as the character in their own level and use the weapons that they would normally use. So for example, Aloy from Horizon Forbidden West, you get to use a bow and arrow. Oh man, if you've not played this game, you are in for a real treat. And then you've got the DualSense features. So just like before, the game makes full use of the controller features, including the haptic feedback and adjustable triggers. And you can really feel this on every path you walk or enemy that you attack. But it's worth talking about the difficulty of some of these levels. So on the whole, it is a pretty easy game. So if you want to speed run through the levels and collect nothing, well you can. But the more items you collect, the more levels you get to unlock. And some of these extra levels really are challenging. Like you have one life to make it through the obstacle course, and some of these have taken me dozens of tries. But that's a good thing, as it's a great mix of fun and challenging levels, and makes getting the platinum a little bit more rewarding. So yeah, I hope we see more of Astro and he becomes the main mascot for PlayStation, like we have Mario for Nintendo. Right, I'm actually going to stop there as I could go on and on about this game, but this has been the most fun that I've played in a game for as long as I can remember. They took what I liked from Astro's Playroom and multiplied that into this incredible little game. It also felt really nostalgic and kind of reminded me of playing the PS1 and PS2, especially with those references to different characters and hardware throughout the game. So will you be playing Astro Bot this week, and were you able to pick up this controller as well? Now drop a Astro Bot in the comments and I'll give you a thumbs up for staying right till the end. I've also made a top games to play in September video that you should check out next. Well, thanks for watching, please like, subscribe and follow me everywhere. Until next time.